Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ty with the 9 to 5 solution. Okay, so I was literally just sitting here thinking. It seems that I'm pretty contemplative these days. Um, so I was thinking about my life and where I've been and where I am now. And you know, I don't know if you've ever felt unfulfilled or maybe even like a complete failure. Well, I've been there. I've been there. One thing about me is, I've always been able to excel at anything I do, but that doesn't mean I always tapped into my potential. Um, if I put my mind to it, I can excel. Okay. So I remember, back in high school, coming back from being excelled to having to take my PSAT, didn't know the test was going to be on that day. And I got there and everybody was like, no, you got to go here, you have to go here. And I was so confused. And so I went and took the test and I got the results back. This is after being expelled, didn't know the test was coming up. I had my very first day back to school, and I got a 1360. And no studying, didn't know the test was coming up. I hadn't even been to school. Um, and I made a 1360. So I thought that was very good. And this isn't to spill all the beans about me. I just want you to kind of know, because I talk about potential all the time. Okay, and here's the thing, everyone has potential to be anything. Anyone can be anything, but until you act on it, that potential really doesn't mean much, you know what I mean? And so that's why it kills me to say, but to hear someone say, I dated someone for their potential, or I got into this because of its potential. Um, if you don't act on it, it means nothing. So for so many years, I went on through high school, and then one day it's just something hit me like you have to get it together. And so, of course, I went on and, got myself together, and I was doing very well in my classes. So I started with a shaky beginning, and it's not a parenting issue. It was something inside of me that made me feel like I wasn't good enough, even though I was. So it was something inside of me that I had to personally get over and deal with so that I could succeed in life. Okay, so I got things back on track that way. I had my daughter when I was only 19 years old. I'm 29 now. She'll be 10 years old this year, and I'll be 30 very soon. In less than a year, I'll be 30. I had my daughter very young. I went on to college anyway. Um, it was difficult. There were some days I would rather be in bed. But what I did was I saved up enough money. I don't know how I did this at 18 years old and pregnant, but I got myself out of high school. I did well. I saved up enough money for me to not have to work for 1 year. Okay, because I knew that I didn't want to put my daughter in daycare right away. And then I was able to become a substitute teacher while I finished up school until I was able to really go back full time after my daughter turned about one. Okay, so that's just a little bit of background about me. And like all this time, I felt like a complete failure, to be perfectly honest with you. I was like, I'm young and I'm pregnant and I wasn't raised like this. And it was something very hard for me to deal with. But I had to deal with it. I had to find out, I had to figure out how to succeed when all this odds were stacked up against me. So fast forwarding through college and various jobs, and I would get these jobs that other people would be pretty happy to get, but to me they were, ugh. That's really how I felt. They were like, ugh. I got the jobs and I've always been able to move up in the companies, but it's real crazy. I'll tell you, there was one job I had. I was literally there was a class that they only offered once a year. The job was once a year. The job was not willing to work with my schedule. Was not willing to work with my schedule. I can't remember what time of day the class was held, but it wasn't even a major adjustment that needed to happen, and it was only 1 or 2 days a week. They weren't willing to work with my schedule, so I had to make a decision. Um, so you know what I did? I quit that job. I quit because I was one class away from getting my degree, and that class only came up once a year. So I needed this class, and so I had to choose between a degree and a job. So, that just goes back, and that just made me feel like, oh my God, these jobs just do not care about you. So I went on, finished school, and I was a substitute teacher for a while, because I enjoyed it and it allowed me the flexibility to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I really enjoyed it, and I had planned on teaching, but I decided to go a different route and go ahead and go with my degree, which I did go to school for operations and production management, and I'm also a human resources specialist by trade. Um, so I went into operations, and again, this is a job that other people would be ecstatic about having. And then eventually in that same industry, so I was still in operations, but I was able to go into human resources. And to make a long story short, I was working in human resources, and I trained the girl who, the new girl. I trained the new girl. I did everything by myself because the other person on my team had actually just stopped coming to work. She got fed up. And so that's what I want to get that's the point I really want to drive home. Excuse me, guys. That's the point I really want to drive home. Sometimes you just have to get fed up in order for things to really change and to have the life that you really want. So I trained this girl, and this lady, she's a grown woman. She was older than me. I was like 26, 25. I was like 24, 25 years old working in human resources. I was like the youngest person who had been in that position. Um, the only one who, outside of the actual manager, the only one who actually went to school for that particular field. Other people kind of got into it because for other reasons, but I'm the only one who's been in that position who actually went to school for it. I was the youngest person, so, and then, I mean, you know, I, I'm different. I'm not a butt kisser. So it was a little difficult for me, all right? So, I trained this woman. She was older, and people took to her a lot better than they took to me. Now, I was a nice person, and people liked me, and I wasn't one of the people with an attitude. It was nothing like that. You asked me to do something, I do it, no problem. I did things that weren't even my job, because I had the operations background. I was working in human resources, still helping out in operations. Like, that is so weird, but I still did that. But I started seeing the favoritism, and it's not because of anything I did. And I got fed up. I got fed up. I made up in my mind at that job, I was still on a job, but I made up in my mind that this, I can't do this. The whole job and being better than other people, but being taken advantage of, being overlooked. I was like, I'm done. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. That's where I was. That's where I was. And so I started a business while I was still working as a freelance makeup artist. And it was going well. Everything was going well, and I had made up in my mind that at 25 years old that I would be retired by the time I was 35. You know why? I got fed up with the whole work situation. I got fed up with the job scene and people trying to tell me how much I'm worth and pay me what I feel is too little, and the whole competitive salary, which that only means they're going to pay what everyone else pays and maybe a little bit more to kind of get that edge. I got tired of it. I got fed up and I got tired of feeling so unfulfilled and feeling like I was a complete failure. You know why? Because I had already determined in myself that I was worth so much more than that. And so that's why I'm doing things like making these YouTube videos, because for a while I wouldn't come on YouTube. It was really nerve-wracking for me. It was very nerve-wracking. I would get out and I would work my business, but YouTube, nah. So right now I am all about breaking down barriers in my own life and helping other people do the same. This isn't something I like to do and be in front of a camera. I've always been a behind the scene type person. But what I'm doing, and what I challenge you to do, share your story. Tell people about your struggles. Instead of bottling this stuff in, because I did that for years, instead of bottling it in, share your story. Get it out. Get it out. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed of who you were. You know, the good thing about stories, they don't end, especially when it's a story about you. They're not over. They don't end until you die. So don't be ashamed and don't feel like the story is over for you, because you know what the truth of the matter is? Your story is still being written, still being written. And that's the same thing that's true of me. My story is still being written. But the thing is, I finally got fed up enough to make a change. And I encourage you to get fed up about something. Get fed up enough to make a change. A change that is going to change your future. You don't have to be the person you were forever. That person can be dead and over with. That person can be done with right now. All you have to do is make a decision. I am no longer that person I was 10 seconds ago. I'm a new person. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. And I'm going to take the steps to secure a better future for myself. Because no one else is going to do that for you. So this is the challenge I'm making to you. This is the challenge I'm making to you. If you're in business, you're thinking about joining business, do it. Do it. If you want to do what I do, you can check out what I do. The information is below. But I want to challenge you to do something different. Make a video every day. This is a 30-day challenge. I'm putting out a 30-day challenge to you. For 30 days, I want you to do a video to vlog about it. Come on here and share what steps you have taken today to make your future better. So are you up for the challenge, guys? I am so up for it. I'm so ready for it. I finally kicked fear in the butt. All right, fear is no longer a factor in my life. Like, this is, oh my gosh, I feel so free. Like, you guys don't understand. I never share my story with anybody. This is the first time. So this is like really, it's kind of scary, guys. It's a little bit scary. But you know what? I'm going to put this video out anyway. Because it's time for me to be free, and it's time for you to be free of your past. And you know, I've done so much to be successful and be the person I am today, that it behooves me to share that with somebody else. I know this isn't a normal, typical type of video I put out, so but I wanted to do something different today, because I know that fear is holding a lot of people back. And if you are one of those people who is crippled by fear, I want you to let it go. Let fear go. You can't be fearful and as successful as you can be at the same time. Fear will hold you back. Fear will cripple you. It'll keep you from reaching your goals, guys. So be fearless. Join the challenge. Join the challenge. Come on here for 30 days and tell what you did that day to make your life better. Maybe talk about how you overcame a fear. How you went up and talked to somebody you wouldn't normally talk to. All right, guys, that's the challenge I'm issuing to you. Hopefully you take me up on the challenge. I will talk to you guys later. This is Ty with the 9 to 5 Solution. Over and out. Have a wonderful day. Peace.